short video, I want to discuss what ecosystems are, why they matter to our understanding of market competition, and what implications arise for policymaking. So what are ecosystems? Ecosystems are networks of business entities that work together to create and capture value. We often meet ecosystems in high-tech industries, Intel, Microsoft, Pfizer, Google, Netflix, TikTok are ecosystems. A digital ecosystem is typically reliant on the technological leadership of one or more firms that provide a platform. And then other system members, called complementers, align their investments and strategies on the platform, cooperate with it, and rely on it for a whole set of resources. 5 concepts characterize the idea of a business ecosystem. My co-author, David Tiss, and I call them the 5 C's of business ecosystems. The first is cross-market competition. Ecosystems are not in a single industry. They participate in broad-spectrum competition that crosses a variety of industries. Google competes for personalized ads with Facebook and does so by competing for attention on mobile devices with Apple and by providing software solutions like search and emailing software with Microsoft. In some of these markets, Google has a large position, in others not, and I have myself called that a oligopoly. The point is that competition in these markets creates spillover effects on other markets. They're interdependent. The second C is coevolution. Like biological ecosystems, business ecosystems are living species. The interaction of all entities produces new, emerging, and innovative outputs, like when interaction with merchants led Amazon to develop data storage and analytics services, leading to a new money-making segment that we today know as AWS or Amazon Web Services. The third C is complementer. In a business ecosystem, complements add value to the platform. Google's mobile operating system Android needs to be attended by OEMs, handset manufacturers, game developers, and app providers to thrive. It's not their number, but it's their quality that's also important. If Netflix licenses a set of disappointing shows in a year, or if it fails to secure enough cloud time or high-performing, low-latency solutions, then this might be the end of it for the business entity and the ecosystem. The fourth is co-opetition. Ecosystems members compete for the long term. They leave aside self-interest in the short term and they try to lift all boats for everyone. For example, a company like Amazon, that is a platform leader of an e-commerce ecosystem, Amazon should have no rational incentive to vertically integrate in product categories to exclude and predate against merchants. The fifth C is conscious direction. An ecosystem needs a leader, like the queen in a beehive. The leader matters because he or she often provides mechanisms, rules, key products, intellectual property, and financial capital for interaction. And this makes it very important that the platform leader be adequately compensated for the whole set of resources provided. So what can we learn from all this when we think about competition today in digital markets? The point that we make in the short notes is that ecosystems are a good organization in digital markets because they allow to overcome 2 technological constraints that work against each other. One, value creation comes from data, often personal but also machine data, that are distributed in a wide set of form factors, devices, some might say gadgets, in the non-digital world. But two, value capture comes from computation, curation, use, reuse, and combination of the data, and that requires centralization. Ecosystems allow to solve this by combining sensors that collect, convert, disseminate, label, and restructure distributed data, and servers that centralize analysis, computation, correlation, reproduction, search, storage, retrieval, and the filtering of sense data. A related and often neglected point is that it's not sufficient to think about building or to build an ecosystem to succeed in digital markets. Data and big data create many challenges, and if it might be true that data are the new oil, it is equally true that data are highly flammable, slippery, and risky areas for business entrepreneurs. Data, as I said before, can be combined and recombined at will. The number of business opportunities is not infinite, but indeterminate. And this indeterminacy is what creates a lot of risk for ecosystems that leverage data for their business and profit maximization function. So the bottom line is that data might be the new oil, but they create a lot of uncertainty, and survival is not a given. Only ecosystems that demonstrate strong dynamic capabilities will be able to enjoy long-term competitive advantage. In the short note, we explain what dynamic capabilities are. They really denote three things. One, the ability to sense business opportunities and unknown futures. Two, the ability to seize the opportunities created to create and capture value. And three, the ability to transform and reconfigure when a potentially disruptive business opportunity arises. Now that we know all that, what are the policy implications? We believe that today's framework for policy and case analysis in the competition field can be best understood with a metaphor. So today we seem to assess whether an area of the economy is competitive as if we had a theory of football competition that would only look at the end score after 90 minutes of a game. A theory of the competitive process, like that theory of football competition, leaves aside a lot of important issues and elements which matter in an ecosystem, like what happened in the locker room, what happened during negotiations with agents, with players, and with sponsors. It also ignores what happened during previous games and also the possibility of doping or corruption. So in the paper, we try to invite competition agencies and courts to add and integrate the dynamic capabilities, dynamic competition, ecosystem competition knowledge to their mindsets. And because we want to be concrete in the paper, we try to formulate a short amount of very concrete questions that could be added to the inquiry to guide the competitive assessment. For example, we often ask today, when we look at a large firm in a market, whether it's abusing a dominant position, and to do that we ask whether and who are its main competitors, its actual and potential suppliers. We should ask, we say, who are the company key competitors from an ecosystem point of view. This would lead us to look at its technological peers, the peer group, as analysts say, and to consider other sets of information, such as company profiles drafted by market research firms, or even the descriptions found in 10K reports to financial authorities. Let me give you one last example. We often ask today, is a business practice anti-competitive by purpose or effect? We might also want to ask, is the business practice coherent in light of the longevity, survival, and resilience imperative of the ecosystem? Some say that by asking whether the ecosystem is more fox than shepherd. Take the following example. A dominant e-commerce platform that decides to vertically integrate into private labels. So the question then should be, is that vertical integration coherent with the platform long-term incentive and commitment to ensure low prices to customers? The test could be the following. The platform will be shepherd if it exits from these product categories once the prices have gone down. But the platform will be more fox if it stays in the product category and starts charging pre-entry prices once the merchant competitors have exited. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this short video gives you interest into our notes.